let's tune into the sounds. Let's visualize ourselves floating in a lake with our mother. And we're just floating in there with nothing to do, nothing to be. We are a child. And we're floating in this lake with our mother. And in this lake we feel protected, we feel safe, we feel whole, we feel love and forgiveness. So allow that wave, that current of energy to take you. It's a subtle vibration, but that subtle vibration encompasses the whole universe. So tap into that subtle vibration as though you're floating on a lake with your mother and your child. And you're just floating and allowing the current to take you. Allow the vibrations of the subtle you to take you. It's as though we're just floating on by life. Just floating on by like a leaf, gradually gliding from its place on a branch towards the ground, just gliding. So let's be in this energy of gliding. Let's be in this energy where we are a hawk, an eagle, high in the atmosphere, where we no longer use our wings. We use the energy of the air to glide us, to take us. Because there is a current in the air, and there's a current within you. And that current can only be felt through you letting go, through you floating on that lake. It will take you where you need to go. So let's talk about Saturn return and free will, as we allow the song, the vibration of it to take us, as though we are an eagle high in the atmosphere, so high up that we no longer need to use our wings. We allow the current of air to take us across the sky as an eagle does. Allow this current, this lake to take you down. Take you. So Saturn return. For those who may be in late 20s, or in your early 30s, you may be experiencing this Saturn return. But the reason I mentioned free will with Saturn return is because a lot of your decision making really determines this Saturn return energy in the completion of it. So let's look at Saturn return. Saturn return is an energy that happens around 27 to 30, where you are completely wrapping up any sort of karma from your south node in your previous life. So you're coming to terms with it. You're wrapping it up. It's kind of like a final goodbye. You know, the 0 to around 27, even before that. It's like a final goodbye to the past life karma that you've experienced for many lifetimes. For example, my south node is in Taurus. So Saturn return for me can be like a goodbye, Taurus. It was nice to experience you for lifetimes, but it's time for me to stretch my muscles in a different way. And that's when we step into our north node, for me, Scorpio. This is all for the purpose of helping us to strengthen every muscle in our spiritual body. We work on our arms until we feel confident that we are able to lift maybe a heavy weight, and then we begin to work on our legs. And now this is all in the spiritual sense. because each zodiac sign represents a spiritual lesson, a spiritual mastery, a creation we want to focus on for a particular lifetime or lifetimes until we feel like we've gained a skill from it. We are skillful. For me, my South Node being in Taurus, so I'm skillful in the energy of manifestation, of being content with the daily routine. I am skillful and building, of being independent, of being reliant, of being strong and very, very grounded. That is the skills I've mastered. So the Saturn return is us stepping into the newness of our being. So this Saturn return energy for a lot of people around in their late 20s, early 30s can be a rude awakening. It can be very intense and overwhelming and cause a lot of frustration, irritation, sadness, and overall deep confusion. Feelings of, what am I supposed to do with my life? Nothing makes sense. I'm so lost. Because that Saturn return energy is telling you, you no longer, sometimes the Saturn return is very strict and stern. You no longer can live this way that you've been living for maybe your whole life. Because you have already mastered that. You're already skillful at that. So it pushes you. And sometimes, like spirit guides with the rude awakenings, with the relationship falling apart, even everything you thought to be your life just being ripped right under you. It's a way of pushing you beyond your comforts. And the Saturn return is an energy that really pushes you, especially for those who have gotten very comfortable and very satisfied with fulfilling their South Node energy. Gotten very happy about that because it's comfortable. It's easy for us to be in our South Node. So free will, we have this ability to expedite our entire zodiac chart. That's why the predicting of the Saturn return, particularly for the younger generations coming in, is very difficult because these children are not really in this free will energy anymore. So a lot of times with the zodiac chart and really interpreting it has to kind of go with this free will energy, this decision-making energy. There's this blueprint, but there's also this decision, this predictability based on the guides, the spirit guides observing you through your many lifetimes. Because through our many lifetimes on Earth, we get into a rhythm and a groove and a pattern. We become slight predictable. So our guides can craft a chart, a blueprint for us in this particular lifetime that can reflect that predictability, our patterns that we kind of get into through our lifetimes. But in this particular lifetime, for everyone on the planet, the planet's vibration, things are so very unpredictable in the best of ways. So people can have just this awakening just by saying a mantra or just by listening to a song, and instantly, bam, the Kundalini energy is awakened and their whole entire zodiac chart energetically shifts. It's like the shifting of a wheel. It takes great force to shift that wheel. But people are experiencing that, particularly the younger generation. So for my generation, even kids much younger, they're experiencing their Saturn return at maybe like 13. Or for me, it was 18, where they have come to full terms, full awareness of their South Node energy, and they make peace with it, and they say goodbye, and they step on their South Node very early on in their life. Now, a lot of individuals you could say, in the past has really only stepped on their south node at the age of 30 and through a lot of force. And some people don't step into that. They don't make that leap from their south node to their north node. Now again, south node represents your past life karma, and your north node represents this dharma you have, your karma, what you want to master in this particular life moving forward. So you take in those skills from your south node and you apply them to help you transition into learning a new set of skills with your north node. So expediting your growth, like turning the wheels, it's like it takes great effort to turn that wheel with your zodiac sign. Because remember, our birth chart is based on our birth, our coming out of the womb, but we have octaves to our birth charts. Just like we have octaves, we have pitches, low and very high pitches to our vibration. We can experience a lower chart, which is maybe experience the complications and the hiccups, the resistance, the stubbornness, the inability to change, the whole stagnation when the wheel wants to turn but it's not really turning because you're kind of fighting against it. We can experience that, or we can experience the higher octaves of the chart, which really encompasses working with a whole different zodiac system. Now, I do believe a whole new zodiac energy is going to flood the planet. And I feel like it really started with the Mayan calendar that ended in 2012. That was them predicting the end of a planetary zodiac cycle. Again, the planetary zodiac cycle takes thousands of years. Okay, and just like us, we follow in that. Sometimes it takes us many, many lifetimes, hundreds, to master a particular set of energies, of elements within ourselves. So with that ending, 2012, and even before that, Yogi Bhajan says it, the Aquarian Age really hammered on us around the 90s, like 1993. And the interesting is, because a lot of technology, the computer, the box computer came out in the 90s. So that is really falling in the line of this great awakening in the Aquarian Age, with this awakening and even the Microsoft. So with you in deciding, using your free will, because remember, the spirit guides understand your free will, and they take that into consideration with helping you craft your birth chart based on your patterns. It's kind of like they take little notes. They observe you in every single lifetime, and they take notes of the way you respond, and they come to kind of formula. Like in the science, you do it again and again and again, and it becomes a accurate formula based on it. This and this creates this, and you do it again and again, and it creates this. So they kind of do that with you. But you here now, the guides are very excited because they like the unpredictability of the humans' changes and the humans' decision making, because it means that we're getting out of any sort of 2 + 2 is 4 and doing the same thing again and again and again. We're transcending that. So through that transcendence, your accelerated growth, you can participate in a zodiac chart that is totally different than what we've kind of been grooving in for even the last really thousands of years. So for example, what I've mentioned with the children experiencing this kind of Saturn return, and again, it can happen very quickly. It doesn't have to be years of years of years. It can be something very quickly. My experience of it was maybe 2 years of really coming to terms with the Taurus South Node, and then really being open to the intensity, the strangeness of the Scorpio energy, which is my destiny, my mastery for this lifetime. So I feel you can decide through your willingness to change, through your willingness to focus on you. Because a lot of times our velocity, you could say, our velocity in burning through karma, even moving through these lessons that we need to move through in order to come to this great awakening, it's really slowed down by our focus on other people. Our focus on, right now we have a lot of social media, focus on what so-and-so's doing. That person in that blog, or that spiritual teacher, I'm going to go to all these spiritual teachers. It can kind of slow down our velocity. Is when we get in the focus energy of us, of like really going deep within us, either through Kundalini and meditation, listening to music, and your liberation. You grab that you by the face. You're like, here we are. We're here, not now. We're not distracted. We're not looking this way and looking that way and looking all. We're here. I grab you by the head, and we're here now. And when you do that, you instantly are in this flow, this current that's very fast, expedited growth. But when your attention is wavering all the time on, so-and-so has this and I need that, I'm, jealous or envy, which are emotions that naturally come up in this world of I'm better than you, the envy and the jealousy, because we're all still in this glory. So even Guru Bhajan predicted this glory is going to transform into spiritual glory. I'm more spiritual than you. My spiritual business is thriving more than you. Okay, so that's Guru Bhajan many years ago in the 60s predicted that. And that's what's happening right now. So it can be very distracting because you and your creation, you could say your greatest contribution to society, is not creating some trendy spiritual business that you just kind of pull out in just like one little pop. It is focusing, grabbing that you by the head. Say, we're not all looking all over. We're here now. Okay, we're here now. Who are we? What is our destiny? What is it? What is it? And then you'll find this seed blossoming you like a seed to a fetus. Okay, and a lot of times these trendy spiritual businesses can be based on birthing a seed, just birthing a fetus that hasn't even grown. It's not entirely has its full identity. And like, you're pregnant woman, you have to allow that fetus to grow and to grow and to blossom by feeding it, that fetus. I mean, you're doing that when you're talking and you're just walking around. You're feeding its energies, life force. It's connecting with you. So when you grab yourself by the head and you connect with your life force, you're going to find amazing growth within yourself and your love life, even in your sense of purpose. Because the purpose for all of us, I feel, even Guru Bhajan mentioned about this, is our community. It's not in our individual homes having our spiritual businesses because we don't want to connect with people, because we're getting in this weird kind of, we don't know how to connect with people because we don't want to be triggered as spiritual people. We don't want to face the darkness that is in other people, so we kind of go in our own little bubble, our spiritual bubble, and have our own spiritual business. But I feel with all of our charts, remember, we have a chart of the whole world, like the Mayan calendar. I feel our chart is stepping more into a collective, community-based healing. Not individual, yes, but being able to stand with an individual who's very, very dark and not feel icky, like, oh gosh, this person's so negative. Oh, this person is like, oh, I don't want to be around them. They're so negative. They're messing up my mojo. I feel like we're in that energy right now of, I don't want to be around this because they're messing up my mojo. And again, that takes strength. That takes strength through you focused on you. Because your greatest energy comes through focusing on you. Not focusing on this person or that person. Because we can get really caught into another person's vortex, someone that we love and we want to help, but we get caught into it, therefore we lose track of ourselves and we go spinning off into somebody else's karma. And then it becomes just two swirling vortexes in karma that kind of just keeps it there. All you have to do and focus on is you. And let's say your spiritual business, because that's very popular right now, is not, this trendy, following the path of all of these individuals you see on Instagram or on Facebook or even on Google. But it's something very crafted. We need things that are crafted very neatly and organized, like a baby. A baby, 9 months, it's pretty much got that completeness. But a fetus at 2 weeks it doesn't have that. It doesn't have that fullness, that clarity, that decision of how it's going to be. So that's for you, through you focusing on you, deciding what kind of accelerated growth, what kind of way would you like to participate in your zodiac chart. So you can use your free will to kind of be pessimistic, because there's either two options, pessimistic or optimistic about your changing. And those really determined your state in which you're experiencing the chart. Even full moons. The pessimism is, oh my gosh, I'm lost, I'm confused. And the optimism can be like, you know what, I don't know what's going on. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm going to just keep moving forward. And I feel right now in this age, in any age in the planet Earth, like I said, it's very unpredictable. And I feel for you, this plan you may have had before you incarnated, I feel like it's kind of like a go-by-go sort of pace or way of living. I don't think this is the whole script and I'm going to follow it. I feel like it is kind of like a day by day, week by week, because the energies from everyone, people that maybe were really not going to wake up, like really deep in their ego, just blossom into their soul self, and it's like blowing away the angels, because they're like, whoa, I didn't really see that coming. So every time someone deep ego blossoms into their soul self, it creates this new wave of energy. And that wave of energy is happening all the time, and it's waves of energies that weren't really calculated. It just seemed to spontaneously happen with just like the right elements, the right environments, the right scenarios and situations and relationships led to this great awakening in one person. And now they leave a huge wave of energy across the whole planet that transforms your reality. It upgrades it. It transmutes it. So therefore, if you're following a script, if you feel, there's some people who are addicted to psychics, if you're really into that sort of wanting to know your whole life story, really going to psychics a lot, even spiritual business people that are admired are constantly at some guru teacher, or constantly in the Himalayas doing guru things or psychic things all the time. Because they want the precision, they want the preciseness of what it is they're here to do. And that preciseness you're not going to find in this lifetime. Because we are in this threshold of something that isn't even here yet, this age, but we're getting into it. That's why we're at the threshold. So it's really about the focusing on you energy. Because when you really do something out of you, like birthing something that comes from you, not comes from you just want to make money or you just want to be popular in the spiritual community, you're doing it because it's the deep down feeling that keeps edging you and cheering you on. You're going to find yourself, you're going to find that it's not the precision, it's just simply taking the energy that is right now, using it to create art, or music, or dance, or just smile, or working with children, or studying abroad, or going to school. It's just the creation, the creativity, the expression that is what's needed of you. Not the mission is your face is on a billboard. Okay, and that is the old system. The system that started with the age of Taurus long thousands of years ago. The age of Taurus with the bull that you see in a lot of kind of before this Roman, before the Greek, this bull, the Taurus age. We are taking this idea of mission and we're putting into that Taurus age and again the Pisces that was more recent. So our mission, I feel, with Age of Aquarius is just being the example, just being the testimony of a higher dimensional human brain, of thinking, of perceiving, of living. That is, feel, is the more connected with the Age of Aquarius than my face is on a billboard. That is still with the dominance, that way before the Greeks and way before the Romans. Okay, so just wanted to share these messages with you guys because the world is changing, and I've said this so many times in my whole life. But if you're experiencing that Saturn return and you feel the resistance, the heaviness, you don't know where you're going with your life, the best thing that you can do is honestly just focus on yourself and get away from this distractions of my mission is based on my face on a billboard. My how many clients I attract, how popular I am. Because right there, it's very hard to focus on you at the same time trying to focus on fulfilling your ego's need of recognition, of popularity, of being the one who's the best spiritual teacher, the best spiritual practice. It's very hard to focus on you while you're trying to fulfill that ego. And that's when we get into resistance, when we're trying to get into our south node, because we don't have the energy to get into it, because our energy is so scattered on trying to make an identity for ourselves in this world. Identity based on mission equals face on a billboard. So when you can lean away towards you need the identity to be here now, and focus on simply just being the nothingness, just in your room, creating a picture, or writing a story that nobody knows of. That nothingness energy leaves a space open for that new energy to flood in and to fill that cup up with a new way of being. And that's going to be much more fulfilling than doing something that works. For sure works, but you don't feel happy about it because it's like, I've done this so many times in so many lifetimes with your North Node. So you either break the box or you stay in the box. But when you're in between breaking the box and stepping into kind of a new pair of shoes, you could say, you've outgrown these shoes and stepping into a new pair of shoes, you're kind of barefoot. You're barefoot and it's kind of this awkward feeling because you're not used to being barefoot, but you have to be while you wait for the new shoes to be built and given to you. So you may be walking barefoot, but just embrace the nothingness. You know, there's no identity to your feet. Your feet are just there. There's no color. There's no shoe. There's nothing. It's just you, entirely you, freeing kind of feeling. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this song that I'm playing as well. This song is by Johan Johnson, and he's Swedish, I believe, and it's called Flight from the City. longer blame our parents, blame society and ideology, or in a group, we can truly begin to build the new age. So once we no longer blame our parents, blame society and ideology or a group, we can begin to build the new age. That's a powerful statement, power behind that. So once we no longer blame our parents, society, ideology, or group, we can begin to build the new age. Powerful statement. Just hear it and say it. Once we no longer blame our parents, society, ideology, or a group, we can begin to build the new age. Say this one more time if you would like to join me. Say it with power, with enthusiasm, as though you are very optimistic, enthusiastic about this. Change is revelation in every person in the world. Once we no longer blame our parents, society, ideology, or group, we can begin to build the new age. So namaste.